My name is Sam. I'm a retired engineer, and now I spend my time making strange vehicles and objects, strange machines, unusual machines. Well, the cars and the bike and stuff like that reminds me of when I was a child, and we didn't have a lot of money or anything for toys or anything in those days. There was no internet or computers. And we spent all our time out on the streets and the alleyways, laneways. We used to make our own little box cars, and we'd have endless hours of fun racing each other and stuff like that. So I was trying to recreate this, I suppose, for my grandchildren. Maybe I'm trying to relive my childhood, I don't know. But my grandchildren seem to like them. I get inspiration from pretty much everything I see and on YouTube and TV and everything. I mean, all these things go into your head, and and then they inspire me to make something. Oh, I could spend hours and hours and hours. I don't count the time because I only do it when I have time to do it and when I feel like it. And it's a thing of joy. The pleasure is actually in the making, and seeing my grandchildren's faces then, and when they ride in them, and they say the words "cool, Grandad," that really inspires me. I suppose one of the hardest problems making these things is to try and keep them as light as possible. It's easy to bang a few boards together, heavy wood, and then suddenly you find that it's too heavy to lift or maneuver or something. So this, I've used bathroom paneling. This is plastic paneling on this one to try and keep it lighter. Wheels, obviously, off an old bicycle. And another thing is I try to use recycled material for everything. I don't buy anything for them. As you can see, these were some kind of old lamps or something, and bits of tubing from something else, bits of copper here, and an old bit of PVC pipe, and it doesn't actually do anything, because this one is battery operated, and the battery's in the back of it and the motor in the back, only the controls in the front. I try to make everything as steampunk as I can. So the two favourite colours, of course, black and gold, and brass and copper, and all these things, which would be consistent with steampunk. So I think they look jolly good together. So the wooden one over here, that's made from light panelling wood. A electric golf caddy mechanism in the back of it, and I made that for my little granddaughter. She's almost 3 now, and already she's quite good at driving it. Although it's a bit of a job to keep up with her nowadays. The bike again brings me back to my childhood or my teenage years, when I thought I was a bit of a hippie with the motorbikes and stuff like that. And the Easy Rider film inspired me. It inspired so many young guys at that time. Again, that's battery operated. The other bits and pieces on it are actually do nothing. They're only there for show or to look good. To look a bit steampunky. Haven't gotten around to painting them yet, but all in good time. And the last one, that's the only one I actually bought anything for, because it has a 200cc engine and it's a 4-stroke engine, which I bought on eBay for €200. A great little engine, and again, bicycle wheels, bit of plywood. The steering wheel is actually a wheel off a tea trolley. There's an endless amount of old bicycles around the place, which are free, to take away, and I have a workshop at the end of the garden, and that's where I spend a lot of my time, probably too much time according to my wife. This is my very untidy workshop where all the bits and pieces happen. We'll take things apart and try to make other things. This used to be a greenhouse which I converted into a workshop. And around here we have my lathes, which works very well if you don't push it too hard. It's not for heavy work, but it does a great job with small work. And this is a wood lathe, which I have for years. Fairly basic one, but it does the trick. And then all my bits and pieces here, old drills that motors will be taken out of, and old fans and all kinds of old stuff, you know. All these things will be eventually be put to some use. My table saw there, one of the best investments ever. This is a Wimshurst machine I'm in the process of making. Not finished yet, but we'll get there someday. This is where I spend most of my time.
What about your shop?
Well, that's a collection of things I've built up over the years, and I sell them off now as film props, and or just to people who collect curiosities or collectibles, you know, stuff like that. And I just sell them on adverts, and it's only a nice way of meeting people. I meet some lovely people, interesting people. There's a lovely young couple, came over to me there and were terribly interested. As it turns out, she's an engineer, and so she would obviously have an interest in mechanical things, you know. So I just made new acquaintances there. Huh? Who knows, maybe when they have children they might want a car or something. So this is a model of a Hadron Collider at CERN. So basically a ball going around a circle. Well, the marble machine is actually a do-nothing machine, but brings endless hours of fun. Again, I made that for my little granddaughter. I think she was about 3 at the time. She happens to be 9 now, Georgia, and Georgia loved it. And she loves standing in front of it, watching the marbles going in different ways. And I have a magnetic rod, extension rod, which she uses to try and catch the marbles, and like she's fishing at it. And she loved it. And now my next granddaughter is coming up to 3 years old, and she'll be she's taking an interest in it now. The other engines I made are solenoid engines. So there's an electromagnet which operates them, and you know the flywheel gives them the momentum to swing around to the next switching action, and they're entertaining, interesting things. The Amish marble machines, they're great for teaching children about gravity and the law of the lever and stuff like that in a good way, in an easy way to understand. You know, much better than any book. If they see the actual model working, it's much easier to teach them. You know, I think so. Anyway, that works for me. Maybe it doesn't work for everybody, but it works for me. Yeah. This is supposedly a steampunk clock, just an old clock with a few lights and gears and bits of brass, copper pipe and stuff like that. Makes it different from most other clocks you see. Not the kind of clock you'd expect to find in your granddad's house. I said I'm retired now, so I have lots of free time, and there's nothing I enjoy more than just playing around with tools and making things, you know, fixing things. My little granddaughter had a fall the other day, when she was out with her parents, and she insisted that they bring her up to me because Grandad can fix everything. Oh, yeah. I was to fix her knee, you know. So that's the name I have.